Hello and
Hi.
welcome to the interview series of the WellBE project, dear Stien. Very happy to have you.
Thank you, Sveti. How wonderful that you asked me. Thank you so much. Yes.
Where I met you for first time, Stien, was at the training hall of embodiment training,
Yes.
which we attended together. So for me, you were first like embodiment coach, facilitator.
Yes.
And then I got to know that you are actually a singer, an artist. So those are two layers that you didn't really mention, but they're my first impression when I think of you.
Well, I guess it's already over 10 years now, but for me it's still the thing that came after a while. In 2011, I had a big wake-up call, body-wise, I got very ill, and that wake-up call really told me, now you have to do something with something that is stirring inside. And that was, on the one hand, the artistry, being an artist. I started taking declamation classes, theater classes, working on clowning, on theater directing, and also singing. And I started writing my songs. This is all over the past 10 years. So that's the one. And on the other hand, embodiment was something I had to do. I had been living in my head for a very long time. Like you don't see on this image how tall I am, but I'm a very long stick. And I thought, I'm just walking myself from A to B, my head. But yeah, the wake-up call also told me, no, you can't do this anymore. And so first it was more like a healing, but then I became more and more interested in how to use it as well, or to use it in training and in facilitation. And there's also the combination, of course, because you don't make theater without a body, you don't sing without a body. So I could start seeing all the links between everything I was doing, working with teams, working with leaders, working with groups, the artistry and the embodiment. And that's where I am today. It's like trying to find spaces, or make creative spaces in which those things can come together.
And I can literally see how you connect the dots. And now I wonder, because it was in my head two questions: how you implement embodiment into training and facilitation, and how you implement the artistic work.
Let me start with the embodiment part. They will come together, but the embodiment part in training for me, it's like I have realized in the past few years, I've become a certified embodiment coach, trained with Pierre Guaran, with Mark Walsh, and I want to mention them because there's a lot of what they do that transpires in my work. And I've realized that it's impossible to be not embodied in a training. As a trainer, or you are embodied. We are all embodied. There is no, I cannot embody you. You are it. For me, it's I'm so convinced of this fact that the brain is our body and our body is our brain, and they're so interconnected. So they need to be in the training to be a better learner and to be a better trainer and a facilitator. And for me, it's all about awareness and choice. It's the fact that, can I help myself and participants to allow to feel what I feel, to allow body sensations, thoughts, emotions, imagery to be there? Can I, first of all, be aware of them? Can I allow them to be there? And then can I regulate them? Instead of going into a reaction on something, can I open up my range and have more choice in how I react? So to give an example, in a training, when one of the participants is not agreeing with what I say, or what often happens, and I hope so, because it can trigger something in me. And embodiment is just a mere fact of stepping back, holding space for that, for my own trigger, and opening up and seeing, okay, can I react in a different way? Can I ask a question? Can I breathe through it, through my own emotion, through my own trigger? And can I help participants or leaders, for example, to do the same with their teams, with their so that's how I do it. And also it's about social awareness. How is the other, and how do I co-regulate If I enter into a training and I'm all over the place, then my participants will very soon also be all over over the place. So if I need upregulation, if I need people to be creative, then I can't come in and just, be totally asleep. So there's also a choice there for me as a facilitator on how do I help participants to be in a place that is a good place for learning. And it's not that I have solutions. People sometimes ask me, is it body language? And for me, body language is often like, people think there's this big book and that says, if you do like this, then you're really closed off.
Sometimes you are just cold.
Sometimes you're just cold.
Or you just don't know where to, like, what to do with your
That's not embodiment, indeed. Very good example. Sometimes you're just like shivering and cold. So you're the book. You are your own book of embodiment. That means that I can just ask simply a question to a participant or to the participants. Just take a moment to become aware of how you're sitting and ask yourself the question, am I in the best position to learn? Once in a while, I still need to train online. I love using that environment to use more embodiment, to be more, to help people, because people feel the need of it even more when they're online, and they can understand the need for it even better. So yeah, and then again in little simple things, and then to link it to the artistry, which is another weird thing that I bring in, especially in corporate environments. And I write, I write poetry or poetic texts. I wouldn't always call it poetry, but poetic texts and songs. It's coming in, listening, getting words from people, getting images, seeing them move, seeing them, and using that to wrap up the day. Or in ritual, because that's another thing. Using artistry, music, and embodiment in rituals, like for example, somebody's leaving the company, or they want a training is ending and they want to really anchor the learnings in something. So yeah, in a more ritual way. That's besides my work as a trainer, I also guide rituals, and that can be happy occasions, but also more sad occasions. And also clowning, Sveti. I still need to put a nose on your a clown nose on your nose. Yeah, so clowning is really a wonderful way of working with embodiment. Also one of the most difficult ones to sell, but it's I worked with leaders recently, consultants, I must say, who I together with a colleague, Bart, who's a really trained clown. Yeah, sorry?
I can imagine the resistance.
Yes. What is this?
Okay, the clown knows, but not on me, please.
Yes. Like, do we need to make jokes or something or whatever, But it's not about that. The clown is a real deep archetype of vulnerability and saying yes and opening yourself. And somebody said, who did it, he said, this is so important in the corporate world where we take so many roles on. It's just to, let all those roles go and take on that archetype of the clown where you meet yourself in all your vulnerability, in all and each other as well. There's so many learnings there. And myself as a clown, I've learned there how to be with criticism. Oh my God, do I need to be embodied? And also, do I need the humor and the lightness and the artistry brings me that openness that, I can try on different roles. I can dance in between all of that. It's a crucial skill in the world today.
Mm-hmm. Which is your favorite skill in the training room and in facilitation, Stien?
The most important skill is the skill of leaning back. It's the skill of not intervening. It's the skill of allowing even chaos at some point. It's allowing yourself not having to solve it. And I'm listening to myself as I say it, because, oh my God, I try to solve people's problems everywhere. I put them all on my back. Witnessing and allowing the group's wisdom to surface. I've been meditating a lot with meditations from Shinzen Young. It's Bright Mind is the app. And one of the things Shinzen Young says, our ordinary principle is that the mind wants answers, solutions, whatever, and the body wants comfort. For him, it's like opening up in that field, having another dimension opening up that takes us away from that prison of always having to have an answer and always having to, find comfort. Being able to sit with discomfort, being able to hold that discomfort in yourself as well, and to train that. Can you take up anything that you have there, like a cup or whatever? Okay, hold it for me. And just, and now see how much tension you have when holding this, and can you reduce it with like 20% without it falling?
Yes, I can.
Yes. And you can see how much percent you still can go. I don't want you to drop it, but it's like just a moment before you would drop it. But what is enough tension to hold it? We often have put a lot of tension on the things we do, we say, we hold. So one of my practices, when I feel that I'm going too much into the field, like I'm diving into the story, I really literally have this pen and I let go. I say, wait a second. I'm gripping onto something, literally. Or I train that when I'm reading a book and then suddenly I become aware of like, hey, I can do that with less tension. So that's from Alexander technique. That was my mentor who passed away sadly last year, Malcolm King, a wonderful man. And he taught me that. And it helps me so much. And also in training, it's like, even just in our bodies, oh, I'm gripping with my feet. Do I need to do that to stand up? No. And it's the same training that you train the muscle of letting go. You train the muscle of one thing less to do and holding the group from afar. The thing I've learned with Mark Walsh, for example, and Pierre Guaron, is also centering, which is different than meditation, and which is you can do with your eyes open. And you have many ways of centering. Actually, that letting go of that grip is a way of centering. Widening your gaze is a way of centering in front of a computer. I'm very fixated on you. I widen my gaze, and there we go. Sometimes I call myself the pragmatic poet. So there's a very practical part of me, and then there's the poetic part of me. So I also have a poem, if you wouldn't mind me reading it.
Please do so. This will be a beautiful way to conclude the interview.
It might be the hardest thing to do. Opening after heartbreak. Standing with despair. Being present beyond anger. It might be the only thing to do. Grounding yourself where you are. Witnessing with compassion. Discerning beyond fixing. Dedicating yourself to become the rare one, the brave one, not searching to solve, but aspiring to serve. Therefore, it might be the first thing to do, to remember, to integrate the finest expression of your vulnerable humanity as the gift others need you to be.
Thank you so much, Stien. I would say that nowadays in Europe and the world, we do need this shelter of just being with this sense of serving rather than searching.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Mm.